As we approach the final stretch of the 2024 presidential election, the latest polling data reveals some surprising developments. Across key battleground states, once predictable voting patterns are now showing shifts that could have a major impact on the outcome. Even some traditionally strong Republican states are becoming more competitive than anticipated. Let's break down the current state of the race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, analyzing how the electoral map has evolved and what these changes mean as both campaigns make their final push. The electoral map has been altered significantly since the start of campaign, especially in states that were previously considered solidly Republican. Trump continues to maintain a firm grip on several traditional Republican strongholds. States such as Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, South Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky, Missouri, Kansas, Indiana, as well as the majority of Nebraska, are still securely in his column. Along with these, Trump also maintains a strong lead in the Dakotas, Ohio, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and Utah, all of which have reliably voted Republican in recent elections. These states collectively form the backbone of Trump's electoral strategy and have been reliable Republican strongholds for years. Despite the national shifts, they appear to be remaining in Trump's column for the 2024 race. Altogether, these states give Trump a foundation of about 140 electoral votes, forming a critical part of his path to victory. However, there are some notable changes happening in states that were expected to be comfortably Republican but are now becoming more contested. Iowa, for example, has seen a dramatic tightening of the race. Historically, Iowa has leaned Republican in recent elections. In June, Trump held an 18-point lead over Joe Biden in a poll, solidifying Iowa's status as a solid Republican state. This lead indicated that Trump would have little difficulty holding on to Iowa in the general election. But the entry of Kamala Harris onto the Democratic ticket has significantly changed the dynamics in Iowa. Trump's once comfortable lead has now shrunk to just 4 points, making Iowa one of the most competitive states in the race. The sharp narrowing of the margin in Iowa reflects a broader national trend, where traditionally Republican states are seeing increased Democratic competition. This shift has forced Trump's campaign to reevaluate its strategy, potentially requiring additional resources in states that were once considered safe. Another state experiencing a notable shift is Alaska. While Alaska has consistently been a Republican stronghold, with Trump leading by 5 points in recent polls, the margin is far slimmer than what is typically expected from this reliably red state. Alaska has not traditionally been considered a battleground in presidential elections, but the closer-than-expected polling suggests that the race is more competitive than anticipated. This could signal that Trump may need to spend additional time and resources defending a state that would have been a safe bet for him in previous elections. These developments highlight a significant challenge for Trump. While he continues to hold on to his base in deeply Republican states, the narrowing margins in places like Iowa and Alaska indicate that his campaign may need to allocate more resources to defend territories that were previously considered secure. On the Democratic side, Kamala Harris has a clearer path in several traditionally Democratic states. States like Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Maine's 1st Congressional District remain firmly in Harris's column. These states have consistently voted Democratic in recent elections and are expected to do so again in 2024. Altogether, these states give Harris a solid foundation of 191 electoral votes. While these Democratic-leaning states provide a strong base for Harris, the election will ultimately be decided in the battleground states, where both campaigns are focusing the majority of their efforts. These states are crucial for both Harris and Trump as they seek to secure the 270 electoral votes needed to win the election. One of the more secure battleground states for Harris is Minnesota, where she holds a 7-point lead. Minnesota has leaned Democratic in past elections, and Harris's advantage here suggests that it is unlikely to flip to Trump in 2024. Minnesota's 10 electoral votes are critical for Harris's path to victory, and her campaign appears to be in a strong position to retain the state. Wisconsin, another key battleground state, is shaping up to be a much closer race. Trump won Wisconsin in 2016 by a thin margin, but the dynamics have shifted in 2024. Harris currently holds a narrow 2-point lead in the state, making Wisconsin one of the most closely watched battlegrounds. Although her lead is small, It puts the state in her favor for now, and maintaining even a slight edge in Wisconsin is crucial to her overall campaign strategy. Similarly, Michigan is following a comparable pattern. In 2016, Michigan was part of the so-called blue wall that crumbled for Democrats, helping Trump secure his victory. However, the state swung back to the Democrats in 2020, and Harris is hoping to maintain that momentum. Currently, Harris holds a slim 1-point lead in Michigan. While this margin is far from secure, it does give her a slight advantage heading into the final weeks of the campaign. Michigan's 15 electoral votes are essential for Harris's path to victory, and she will need to hold on to the state if she hopes to reach the 270-vote threshold. Pennsylvania, widely considered one of the ultimate battleground states, remains extremely competitive. Polls show the race in Pennsylvania as a dead heat, but Harris holds a slight edge in aggregate polling. Both campaigns have poured significant resources into Pennsylvania, recognizing the importance of its 19 electoral votes. Trump successfully flipped Pennsylvania in 2016, but Harris has been working hard to win back voters in the state. The race here is expected to be one of the closest in the nation, with both campaigns fighting until the very end for every vote. Virginia, on the other hand, has become increasingly blue over the past few election cycles, and Harris is expected to hold on to the state's 13 electoral votes. She currently holds an 8-point lead in Virginia, making it one of the more secure states in her column. Barring any major surprises, Virginia's electoral votes are unlikely to be contested and can be counted as part of Harris's path to victory. North Carolina, meanwhile, remains a highly competitive battleground state. Trump currently holds a 3-point lead in North Carolina, but the race is still within striking distance for Harris. North Carolina has traditionally leaned Republican in presidential elections, though it has been more competitive in recent cycles. If Harris can make gains in the final weeks of campaign, North Carolina could become a key pickup opportunity for the Democrats. Georgia is another state where the race is incredibly close. Recent polls show the candidates tied, but Trump holds a slight edge in aggregate polling, giving him a narrow advantage in the state. Georgia has emerged as a battleground state in recent elections, and its 16 electoral votes are crucial for both campaigns. The close nature of the race means that Georgia is still very much in play, and Harris will need to invest significant resources in the state if she hopes to flip it. Florida, with its 29 electoral votes, remains one of the most critical swing states in every election, and 2024 is no different. Trump currently holds a 6-point lead in the state, putting it in his column for now. However, Florida is known for being highly competitive, and both campaigns are expected to continue focusing heavily on the state as the election draws nearer. Winning Florida would be a major victory for either candidate, and Trump's lead there suggests that he is in strong position to secure the state's electoral votes once again. Texas, another key state, is critical for Trump's path to victory. With 40 electoral votes, Texas is the largest reliably Republican state, and Trump holds a 9-point lead here. While some Democrats had hoped that Texas might turn blue in the near future, the state remains a Republican stronghold in presidential elections. Although Harris is unlikely to win Texas, her campaign may still try to make a play for it, potentially forcing Trump to spend resources defending his lead in the state. New Mexico, on the other hand, remains solidly Democratic, with Harris holding a comfortable 10-point lead. The state's 5 electoral votes are not expected to be contested, and Harris can count on them as part of her path to victory. Arizona is another key battleground state, where Trump holds a narrow 1-point lead according to recent polling. However, the poll comes from a partisan Republican sponsor, so the results should be taken with caution. Arizona has been trending more competitive in recent years, and Harris still has a chance to flip the state. Arizona's 11 electoral votes could prove to be game changers in the election, so both campaigns are expected to invest heavily in the state during the final weeks. Nevada is another battleground state where the race is extremely close. Like Arizona, Nevada has been trending more competitive in recent elections, and the latest polling shows Trump with a 1-point lead. Harris will need to work hard to close the gap, but Nevada's 6 electoral votes are still very much in play. Alaska, a state not typically considered a battleground, has emerged as unexpectedly competitive in 2024. Trump holds just a 5-point lead in the state, a narrower margin than what would be expected in a traditionally Republican stronghold. This suggests that Trump may need to defend Alaska more vigorously than anticipated. New Hampshire remains in Harris's column, with an 8-point lead, while Maine at large is also solidly Democratic. Harris holds a commanding 13-point lead in the statewide vote in Maine, which splits its electoral votes by congressional district. Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, which awards a single electoral vote, leans Democratic with Harris holding a 6-point lead. This district could be a pickup opportunity for Harris. Please subscribe to our channel.